there's a widespread myth that muscle loss in old age is inevitable, that after 60, your body naturally becomes weaker, slower, and less stable. But that's not true. What we now understand through rigorous peer-reviewed science is that age muscle decline isn't just about aging, it's nutrient-driven, meaning it's what you put or don't put on your plate every morning that begins to determine whether your leg muscles weaken or grow stronger. Let's start with a fundamental shift in perspective. The body doesn't lose muscle just because it's older. It loses it because it's underfed at the cellular level, particularly when it comes to the legs. The legs are a major muscle group. They do far more than carry you from place to place. They regulate metabolism, balance, blood sugar, and circulation. Yet they're also the first to shrink when protein synthesis slows down with age. That process is called sarcopenia, and it typically starts in your 50s but accelerates dramatically after 60. Why the legs first? There's a compelling reason rooted in physics and physiology. Your leg muscles are constantly resisting gravity. They bear the weight of your body all day. They require higher nutrient and oxygen delivery than smaller muscles, but as circulation and insulin sensitivity decline, those nutrients don't get to where they're needed most, and the muscles begin to atrophy. Here's the critical point. This decline is preventable. In fact, it's reversible. Science shows us that targeted nutrition delivered at the right time of day activates the mTOR pathway, a central biological switch for muscle protein synthesis. Think of mTOR like a construction foreman. It decides when to build and when to break down. When you're younger, this switch stays on without much effort. But after 60, it needs to be turned on intentionally, and it's activated primarily by leucine, an amino acid found in high-quality protein sources. And here's the exciting part. Consuming a leucine-rich food within the first 60-90 minutes of waking sends a signal to your muscles that it's time to rebuild, not just maintain, rebuild. That's your morning window. That's your opportunity. Now, most people skip breakfast, or worse, they reach for cereal, toast, or sugary options that do nothing but spike glucose, increase inflammation, and turn off the mTOR switch. Instead, the science points to something far more effective. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, even goat cheese, foods that are rich in bioavailable protein and micronutrients like vitamin D and B12. These nutrients not only fuel muscle growth, but also support nerve signaling, energy production, and balance. A clinical study conducted in 2021 found that seniors who consumed 30 grams of high-quality protein within 60 minutes of waking had a 42% greater muscle protein synthesis response compared to those who ate the same protein later in the day. That's not minor, that's nearly half more efficient. What does that translate to in real life? More stability, more strength, less fall risk, better blood sugar control, and greater independence. The takeaway is simple. Muscle loss isn't something you have to accept. It's something you can fight every single morning with what you choose to eat. There's no magic pill, there's no overnight fix, but there is a method, a rhythm, a biological truth backed by research. Your leg muscles, your strength, your energy, they're all waiting for you to give them the building blocks they need. And it starts tomorrow morning with one plate, one decision, and one commitment to yourself. Because aging well isn't about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. And that begins with feeding your legs before they fade. Ready for the next keynote expanded into 600 words? Certainly. Below is the second keynote from earlier, the morning feeding window, a biological trigger for muscle synthesis, expanded into a 600-word motivational and science-based speech in the same Huberman style delivery without heading. Every day, you wake up with a biological opportunity, a window of time that holds more power than most people realize. Within the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking, your body enters a state of heightened receptivity. It's not just about mental clarity or blood sugar regulation. It's a critical moment when your muscle tissue, especially in the legs, is primed to receive signals to either grow stronger or grow weaker. And the decision rests in what you feed it, or fail to. Your body, especially after the age of 60, becomes less efficient at repairing and building muscle. The machinery still works, but it needs more precision and consistency to function properly. One of the most important regulators in this system is a pathway called mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin. This cellular switch determines whether your muscles go into a state of building, anabolism, or breaking down, catabolism. mTOR is activated primarily through amino acids, with leucine being the most potent trigger. But it's not just the presence of leucine that matters, it's the timing. Research has revealed that after a night of fasting, your body is in a catabolic state. That means your muscles have been breaking down protein for energy. What you do next The very first thing you eat can either stop that breakdown and trigger repair, or allow it to continue throughout the day. That's why the first meal is so powerful. And that's why it's not just what you eat, but when you eat it. Now here's what happens if you delay that first meal, or if you eat something nutrient poor, say a slice of toast or a banana. You miss the chance to activate mTOR when it's most responsive. You prolong muscle degradation, you allow inflammation to settle in, blood sugar to spike, and mitochondria to remain inefficient. But if you feed your body correctly, high leucine protein sources ideally paired with vitamin D and calcium, you flip the switch. You set in motion a cascade of cellular events: amino acid uptake, muscle protein synthesis, improved insulin sensitivity, and even better cognitive function. It's not just about building bigger legs, it's about preserving strength, balance, and even brain health. And it starts with a single intentional meal taken early. Think of this like tuning an instrument. If you tune a guitar before a performance, every note that follows resonates correctly. But if you skip the tuning, the performance suffers. Even if you play every note right, your body works the same way. If you activate the muscle building machinery in the morning, every step you take, every movement you make throughout the day becomes more effective. The protein you eat later in the day works better. Your exercise delivers more results. Even your sleep improves due to better hormonal balance. In a 2022 study, older adults who consumed a breakfast rich in protein, especially animal-based sources like eggs, dairy, and lean meat, had significantly greater muscle mass retention over a 12-week period, even without intense exercise. Why? Because they were using the body's natural rhythms to their advantage. They weren't fighting against time, they were working with it. This isn't about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Your leg muscles, more than any other muscle group, rely on frequent anabolic signaling to maintain strength. That's why morning nutrition is a signal, like turning on a light switch. And if you ignore that switch, you leave your body in the dark, metabolically speaking. So tomorrow, instead of skipping breakfast or grabbing something quick and empty, remember this: you have a short window of time to tell your body to build, to repair, to thrive. One decision, taken early, can change how you walk, stand, move, and feel all day long. It's not just a meal, it's a message to your biology that you're choosing to grow. Let me know when you're ready for the third keynote, also expanded into 600 words. Absolutely. Below is the third keynote, the leg muscle meal. One food with maximum leucine uptake, expanded into a full 600-word motivational scientific speech written in a direct and neuroscience-inspired tone without headings. There's one food, actually one combination of foods that holds immense power for anyone over the age of 60 trying to protect their leg muscles from wasting away. You don't need a complex diet. You don't need to fill your plate with expensive powders or trendy superfoods. What you need is strategic nutrition, something simple, science-backed, and targeted to your biology. And the evidence points us directly toward leucine-rich, protein-dense morning meals anchored in real, accessible foods. Let's get right to it. Among the most effective natural sources of leucine, the amino acid that flips on your body's muscle-building machinery, are pasture-raised eggs and fermented dairy, such as Greek yogurt or goat cheese. These aren't just everyday breakfast staples, they are molecular keys that unlock the anabolic response your aging body struggles to initiate on its own. After 60, your body's efficiency in utilizing protein, what we call anabolic resistance, declines significantly. That means you need more of the right kind of protein to stimulate the same amount of muscle growth that a younger body would achieve more easily. That's exactly why these foods matter. Eggs deliver not only leucine, but a matrix of nutrients like choline, B12, and vitamin D, which support neuromuscular function, balance, and energy metabolism. Greek yogurt, particularly the full-fat and unsweetened variety, offers high-quality casein and whey proteins that are slowly digested, keeping amino acids circulating in your bloodstream longer, feeding your muscles even hours after your meal. Now here's where this gets even more powerful. When you eat these foods in the morning, within the first 90 minutes of waking, their impact is dramatically magnified. Studies have shown that a 30 g protein dose, rich in leucine, consumed in the early hours of the day, results in up to 42% more muscle protein synthesis than the same meal eaten at lunch or dinner. Why? Because the body is more hormonally, and metabolically sensitive during this early window. Insulin works better. Amino acid receptors are more active, and muscle fibers, especially the fast twitch ones that control leg strength and balance, respond more efficiently. This isn't just theory. In a controlled clinical trial, seniors who consumed a breakfast of eggs, Greek yogurt, and a handful of mixed nuts saw measurable increases in leg strength, walking speed, and overall mobility within just 4 weeks. And we're not talking about people who are lifting weights or engaging in athletic training. These were regular individuals just like you who made one small change. They started their day feeding their muscles the exact nutrients they needed. Now here's where the science meets real life. When this breakfast is paired with even light movement, like 10 bodyweight squats, a set of toe raises, or a short walk, the muscle cells absorb the nutrients more effectively. Think of it like watering a dry sponge. Motion primes the tissue to soak in what you've given it, and that short bout of movement done right after your morning protein doubles the absorption of leucine into the muscle fiber. This is what modern science is uncovering, that food is not just fuel, it's instruction. And when the right instructions are delivered at the right time, your body listens. Pasture-raised eggs, rich in leucine, combined with probiotic dairy and light movement. This trifecta is your most powerful weapon against leg muscle loss. So tomorrow morning, don't just think about eating to satisfy hunger, think of it as your daily dose of muscular medicine. One meal, one action, one habit repeated daily is how leg strength is not only preserved, but rebuilt step by step, bite by bite. Let me know when you're ready for the 4th keynote expanded into 600 words. Certainly. Below is the 4th keynote, Why the Legs Go First, Gravity, Glucose, and Inflammation, expanded into a complete 600-word motivational and science-based speech written in a clear and engaging style inspired by Dr. Huberman's tone without headings. There's something quietly happening inside your body that most people don't talk about until it's too late. It begins in your legs, the part of your body that carries you, grounds you, and holds your balance. If you're over 60, chances are you've noticed your legs feel weaker than they used to. Maybe you struggle to climb stairs, feel a little off balance when you get out of a chair, or take shorter steps than you used to. That isn't just aging, that's biology being mismanaged. And now we understand why. The legs are usually the first area to show signs of muscle loss. But have you ever asked why that is? It's not coincidence, it's physics, it's physiology, and it's inflammation. First, the physics. The legs are constantly under the force of gravity. Every step, every moment you're upright, your leg muscles are doing work. They're your body's most burdened muscles, metabolically speaking. And that means they require more oxygen, more nutrients, and more efficient blood flow to function and regenerate. But as we age, circulation becomes less efficient and delivery of essential nutrients declines. What happens next is quiet but dangerous. The muscle fibers in the legs start to atrophy. Now, add in glucose. Here's what's important to know. Muscle tissue is one of the primary places your body stores and uses glucose. When your legs lose muscle, your ability to regulate blood sugar begins to fall apart. It becomes a dangerous cycle. You lose muscle, blood sugar rises. Blood sugar rises, insulin resistance grows. Insulin resistance causes inflammation. Inflammation weakens the vascular system, and the muscles continue to shrink, especially in the legs. This is why so many older adults develop type 2 diabetes, fall more often, and lose independence, not just from aging, but from unaddressed leg muscle loss. And what drives this faster? Chronic inflammation. Every time you eat a breakfast that spikes your glucose, toast, juice, cereal, you trigger the release of inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha. These silent chemicals begin to break down muscle proteins and reduce the number of healthy mitochondria in your cells, the powerhouses that keep your muscles energized and functional. But here's the hopeful part. Science has proven you can reverse this process. You can feed your legs in a way that lowers inflammation, regulates glucose, and enhances blood flow. That's the power of eating a high-protein, anti-inflammatory meal first thing in the morning. When you begin your day with foods rich in omega-3s, bioavailable proteins, and low in sugar, such as pasture-raised eggs with avocado or Greek yogurt with nuts and cinnamon, you immediately dampen inflammatory pathways. You stabilize glucose, and most importantly, you send a signal to your body that muscle preservation is the priority. Pair this with hydration, because even mild dehydration reduces blood volume and impairs nutrient delivery to your muscles. And light movement like ankle rolls or leg stretches in the morning, and you begin to restore the vital cycle of circulation, glucose regulation, and muscle synthesis. In fact, a study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed a high-protein, anti-Huberman inflammatory breakfast had significantly lower levels of circulating inflammatory markers and preserved more lean leg mass over 12 weeks compared to a control group eating standard meals. Your legs don't go first because of age. They go first because they are neglected. They are the furthest from your heart, the first to lose blood flow when circulation weakens, and the most sensitive to metabolic disruption. But they're also the most responsive when you begin to nourish them properly. So let me know when you're ready for the final fifth keynote in expanded form. Certainly. Below is the fifth keynote, Reclaiming Strength, the 3-week nutritional reset plan expanded into a full 600-word motivational and science-based speech in a grounded, neuroscience-informed style without headings. Strength doesn't disappear overnight. It fades gradually, often so slowly that you don't notice until it's already impacting your daily life. You hesitate before standing up. You walk more cautiously. You avoid stairs, uneven ground, or long walks. But here's the truth. Just as strength can quietly fade, it can also be rebuilt. And the reset begins not with medication, not with a personal trainer, but with what you eat each morning for 3 consistent weeks. Your muscles, especially your leg muscles, respond to rhythm and routine. They need repeated signals to grow and stay active. And if you're over 60, those signals need to be stronger and more consistent. The science is clear. A structured morning nutrition plan can restore lost strength, improve mobility, and even enhance brain function in as little as 21 days. That's not hype, that's physiology. Here's how it works. After 60, your anabolic response to food weakens. This means your body becomes less responsive to the muscle-building effects of protein unless you consume it strategically. But when you consistently eat the right types of proteins, rich in leucine and supported by anti-inflammatory nutrients, within the first 60 to 90 minutes of waking, you reignite muscle protein synthesis. And when you do that repeatedly, day after day, something amazing happens. Your body begins to rebuild. In one clinical trial, seniors followed a structured morning nutrition plan for 3 weeks. Each day began with a high-protein breakfast, 30 to 40 grams of complete protein from eggs, Greek yogurt, or lean meat. Carbs were minimized and paired with healthy fats like avocado or flax seeds. After 21 days, participants gained an average of 7% in lower body strength, had faster walking speeds, and reported fewer energy crashes during the day. Some even noticed improved sleep and better focus. Because when blood sugar stabilizes, so does brain chemistry. This reset plan works because it isn't just a diet, it's a recalibration of how your body processes fuel and repairs itself. The key is consistency. One day won't do it. A week is a good start, but 3 weeks, 21 consecutive days is what it takes to rewire your metabolism and awaken dormant muscle fibers. What does this look like in real life? It's simple. Each morning, you start your day with intention. No skipping meals, no sugary cereals. You choose real foods that nourish, strengthen, and protect. A typical breakfast could be 2 pasture-raised eggs cooked in olive oil, a scoop of full-fat Greek yogurt, and a few slices of avocado. Or a protein smoothie with whey protein, chia seeds, and a small handful of berries. Hydrate with water, your muscles need fluid to grow, and follow up with 5 minutes of light movement. That could be calf raises at the counter, a short walk outside, or leg extensions while seated. Why does this work? Because muscle isn't just made in the gym, it's made in the kitchen, and it's protected through daily habits. The nutrients in these meals activate repair pathways, reduce inflammation, and increase amino acid uptake in your muscles. Over time, you begin to feel stronger, more balanced, more energized, and it doesn't stop after 21 days. It continues because your body starts craving what sustains it. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. 1 meal every morning, no skipping, no excuses. In 21 days, you can reclaim more than muscle. You can reclaim confidence, vitality, and mobility. You don't need a supplement stack or a complicated regimen. You need a plate of purposeful food and a decision to follow through. That's how real change happens. That's how strength returns. Because growing older doesn't mean growing weaker, not if you're willing to feed your body what it needs every single morning.